Hello, this is Eileen, the environmental educator, and in today's video, we're going to talk about something a little bit fun. The House passes landmark marijuana legislation legalization bill, and this is April 1st, 2022, but truly it's not an April Fool's joke. There's a lot of places that covered this. It's not an April Fool's joke. What it is what at the end of this article here, well, not the end, Nancy Pelosi says that, we must decriminalize it at the federal level so we don't repeat the grave mistakes of our past. And that might be the only intelligent thing I have ever heard Pelosi say. So, and how is this environmental, you ask? Because it's a plant. Okay, it's a plant. And we live in America where you're free? Oh, okay. Okay. Except we have more laws than everybody else, and there's a book. I think it's a book. Its title is Three Felonies a Day, because there's so many laws on the books that every person, your mother, on average, um, commits 3 felonies a day. There's so many felonies in free America. And this is a plant. And if we got over the stigmata of the plant, then number 5 here, hemp, would have been addressed a long time ago. Okay? It wouldn't even be a question. It would be being used for everything. So this passed the House. It passed the House last year or the year before too, and it would the House passed legislation Friday that would legalize marijuana nationwide, eliminating criminal penalties for anyone who manufactures, distributes, or possesses the substance. It was largely along party lines, but Republicans Tom McClintock and Matt Gaetz and Brian Mast of Florida voted for it. So there you have, Democrats, 2 people voted against it. But this would also, in addition to decriminalizing marijuana at the federal level, the bill would establish procedures for expunging previous convictions from people's records and impose a tax on the sale of cannabis. Well, of course it would. All these states that are legalizing at a 20% tax, and people are signing petitions begging their government to let them use a plant. Well, we'll give you 20%. America was founded by standing up against a 3% tax. And today, Americans, I'm saying that with quotations, people that live in America and call themselves Americans, are pleading with their government, like, look, we'll give you, please take 20% from us, please, because the government knows how to spend money so good and wisely and responsibly. The most ridiculous thing I heard, people signing petitions, begging the government for a 20% tax. It's absurd. And you know why marijuana is still illegal in America? Because the people that live here and call themselves Americans, actual real Americans, not illegals and invaders, a third of the population at this point. Well, not the population, a third of the people that inhabit this country. They are not the population, they are here. But, Americans, actual real Americans, have not used their voice, have not stood up and told their public servants, we're your boss. This is long overdue. Prohibition ended. This needs to end too. But Americans won't do that. So, Americans just then bow to their government. And so the tax here at the federal level, I guess, would begin at a 5% and eventually increase to 8%. And on top of state taxes, which are 20 to 25%, pretty soon you're going to be paying 30 to 33% tax. to buy marijuana for, this to the Fed, and then the state's not gonna, they're not gonna give up their cut. The funding raised by the tax would go toward a fund to provide job training, mentoring, abuse treatment, substance use, not even abuse, substance use treatment, legal aid, reentry services, and youth recreation programs. What do we need job training for? I mean, yeah, people need to be trained for jobs, but what does that have to do with marijuana? It doesn't. Mentoring? We don't need to be mentoring people. That's what friends and family are for. Substance use treatment? What? No, you can scratch that off of federal spending too. Legal aid? For what? It's legal. It's legal now. Nobody needs legal aid. Okay? For what? Reentry services? From what? From what? People that whose records are being expunged? No, 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 no. And youth recreation programs? That's not the federal government's job. That's not people that want to use a plant's job. No tax. No tax, okay? It would help provide loans to small businesses in the cannabis industry that are, of course, owned and controlled by socially and economically disadvantaged individuals. Again, a slap in the face to Americans. Okay? Do you know who is falling behind the most economically in America? The only people that are getting ahead are illegals and invaders. It was even like a report in the propaganda outlets. So proud, and they were all applauding themselves like, F you Americans, can we destroy your country and your lives anymore? They're economic war soldiers against America, and they're the ones making out, but this is who it's designed for. Oh, and to blacks, too, okay? And what? Because they've chosen to live in the ghetto and not get up by their bootstraps. They've chosen to let white people go to work and pay taxes and support them. Hey, put some flowers in your neighborhood if you don't like the looks of it, but you have free housing, you get your food, you get your electricity, you get your phone, you get everything, and you never have to go to work and know what a boss is. So who's the disadvantaged individuals? But that's who this money is going to go to. So no, again, no tax. None of this spending needs to be had. Okay, just none. And well, they call it a landmark legislation here, but it's the most important criminal justice reform bills in recent history. So now it's a criminal reform bill. Well, that is true because Pelosi says legislation would deliver justice for those harmed by the brutal, unfair consequences of criminalization and open opportunities for people to participate in the industry and decriminalize pot at the federal level. So, unfair consequences of criminalization. Well, that's you, Nancy. Okay, isn't that Kamala in the White House? C-O-M, communist Allah is what I call her. Wasn't she putting people away for this? I mean, come on. And yet, okay, so it passes the House, but as Washington does what Washington does, now, of course, it doesn't pass the Senate. Here's marijuana movement. It just goes on that Nadler introduced it. It pretty much went along party lines. Nadler called the MORE Act a long overdue legislation that would reverse decades of failed federal policies on the criminalization of marijuana. And, they just constantly stress in here, of course, they talk about the criminal justice problem and, who's been most prosecuted. There's a lot of variables in that. And when you live in neighborhoods that are crime ridden because nobody gets up and leads a productive life, neighborhoods that the people that pay taxes and go to work and work hard and have to pay taxes to support those neighborhoods, because those people don't work, but they have everything provided for them, and then they want to claim like they're the victim. And so, right here it says, that this would address the heavy toll these policies have taken across the country, particularly among colors of community. Well, you know what? The colors of community need, and this is certainly not everyone might. No, it's the root of the welfare system, and you know, so maybe these people get busted a little more, but they're also just involved with a lot more crime, and then they always have something on them. Okay. So, what these people need to do is get up and start living productive lives and stop letting the horrible white people in this country support them for generations. Okay. So, but, they really stress that in here, that, the colors of community and the people that are affected most by illegal drugs. But, there's a lot of white people in jail for drugs too. So that's just, a race baiting, dividing narrative that this country goes through. But um, it says whatever the views on the use of marijuana for recreational or medicinal use, the policy of arrest, prosecution, and incarceration at the federal level has proven both unwise and unjust. You think? I mean, it's 2022. Come on. But see, this is exactly why this is illegal. Pot is illegal because, um, you know, how many states now have private prisons? And the states have to guarantee these private prisons so many prisoners. Or they have to pay for those prisoners because, the private prisons they have guaranteed business. That's a great business. And what do they want? I read articles a while ago. Yeah, that they want marijuana people because they're not violent. Okay, so this is very much a matter of, you know, making sure that the criminalization process of America works. And it's a matter of being able to then deny Americans. Down here somewhere it says that it would, take you can't be, oh, right here, it can't be used as a reason to deny or rescind a security clearance. It can't be used um for jobs. It can't be used for anything. Like, it's just going to be legal. Like, if you drink alcohol, you can have a security clearance. If you do opium based prescriptions, you can have a security clearance. You can have jobs. But in order for the government to collapse America and to, oh my God, we can't find qualified Americans to do the job. Oh, well, you know why that is? Because you're drug testing them. Okay? So they go out of their way to eliminate Americans, and then the employers go, oh my God, can you believe we can't get Americans? We need to bring the third world here. Every illegal and invader in this country, whether they've been here for decades, every one of their offspring is an economic war soldier against America. And they were brought here based upon Americans being refused jobs, based upon your government's position on this. And this is intentional. Okay? This is very much an agenda to collapse America. This is intentional. There's no, and then of course, the feds say even if your state's legalize it, it's not legal at the federal level, so you can't own a firearm. The feds, the communists, who, like all communists, don't want their citizens owning firearms, whatever reason they can give them to not let them, they're going to take it. They're going to create it for themselves. So, this prohibition, this not prohibition, this just illegal marijuana is definitely very intentional by America, by the people in power, so that they could flood this country with third world invaders, because you can't collapse America to third world without invading it by the third world. So this is why this needed to be lifted a long time ago. Okay? And it's very much why it wasn't lifted a long time ago. So, but now, DC's doing what DC does, and they're gonna, along party lines, as this Politico article states. So, okay, it passes in the House, but oh, you guys, we tried. It's those senators that won't do it. No, it's all the backdoor politics where they're like, yeah, okay, you guys go out and you guys be the good guys. You pretend like we're going to care, like we're going to do what Americans want. They don't represent Americans. Like, people in DC represent nothing except illegals and invaders and every enemy that America has. Okay, they don't care what Americans want. But, okay, you go out and you pretend, and then, yeah, we'll take the fall. We'll be the bad guy, And so, that's the game they're playing in DC. And why are they playing it? Because Americans let them. Because Americans don't go out into the streets and tell them that we, the people, and yes, this is what you will do, and you answer to us, and you do what we tell you to do, not what your DC politics games decides, so that you can play with our lives and you can destroy America. The destruction of America, very much in the economic, the middle class of America is destroyed. Why? Because of the third world invasion and Americans offshoring jobs. And much of that invasion is based upon this criminalization and people not passing drug tests. So, yes, this is just very, very intentional to destroy America. The governments needed this. And so they have kept it illegal. And so, now they're just playing their game, that one side will be the good people and then the other side will hold them up. But oh God, we tried. Maybe next year, people, you just keep not passing those drug tests and we'll just keep bringing more economic war against America's soldiers here as if we don't already have enough. America is already destroyed. The middle class is already destroyed. And it is not because those third world economic against war soldiers against America are here, but because Americans basically commit treason and hire them and house them and sell them food, gas, water, electricity, anything. It is a felony to help or encourage any illegal to come or stay here. Do you see anybody being arrested for that? No, because that's the government's agenda to collapse America. But people today are still being arrested for using a plant. And if they would stop all of this silliness in their destruction of America, hemp would have been utilized a long, long time ago. So that's how that falls into the environment. So stay tuned, people.